He's the top player in the country in the junior class, and he plays right here in North Texas. Lake Highlands' Trey Johnson leads the #1 team in Texas in 6A against one of the premier challengers within their district, the Richardson Eagles, in the inaugural broadcast here on Tuesday Night Hoops. And with that, we welcome you inside the gymnasium here at Lake Highlands High School. Mike Leslie, joined as always by Heckma Harrison. And Heckma, this is a matchup of two really good basketball teams. Richardson, a team that is used to being very successful. Lake Highlands, a team that has been on the climb the last couple of years and is now standing on top of the mountain.
No, and I tell you what, they are rearing and ready to go, especially with the opportunity that they have in 6A. You said it correctly, man. Richardson has been the top dog, and I think for Coach Lawson, he relishes this underdog feeling that he has about his team because he's been so high at the mountain for so long. But tonight, man, this is Texas high school basketball at its finest, some of the best talent in the nation.
We've done football on the WFAA digital network for the last 5 years, 60-plus broadcasts over the course of that time. We haven't done a basketball game in about 3 years. We're excited to be back in a gym bringing you some basketball because this is hopefully going to be the beginning of a long relationship with the game of basketball here on Tuesday night and Friday night hoops over the course of the balance of this month and hopefully well beyond. This game in particular matters, though, too, because now we're into the throes of district play. All of the off-season stuff, or the preseason stuff, if you will, of playing in tournaments, playing in the holiday tournaments, playing teams from outside the state, all of that is now in the rear view. Now they're into the games that really matter for playoff seeding and positioning yourselves for what both these teams hope will be a state tournament run.
Yeah, I mean, in 7-6A play, it doesn't get any better than this. You talk about the teams that are in here that are battling it out. Lake Highlands knows, again, versus Richardson in this game tonight, how pivotal it is. On the other side for Richardson, Tim Jordan, obviously from last year, having the guys that he had in his staple that Coach Lawson had in his basketball court, this opportunity for him to be the head guy, to be the big man on campus, I think he looks forward to it, especially with Wallace and Garrett. Obviously, that's who I'm talking about, these guys graduating. So tonight in this matchup, again, he has an opportunity to really cement himself in a game with the #1 junior in the nation.
22 points, 10 rebounds a game for Tim Jordan. He's been filling it up for him all season long, and everything runs through him. Meanwhile, our player to watch for Lake Highlands is, of course, Trey Johnson. He's the #1 player in the country in the junior class, not in Texas, in America. Tremendous, tremendous talent.
You know, I kept asking myself, Mike, how do you get to be the #1 at anything in the nation? And you just Google this kid, you YouTube him, and you see Trey Johnson, and immediately everything about his game screams #1 in the nation. His guy is smooth. I can't say enough about his athleticism, but Mike, he really has an old school feel to his game. You know, up and unders. This guy, fadeaways. He has a complete game. And he's just in the 11th grade. I think that's the scary thing about him. That's the scary thing about his game. But I'm telling you, all eyes will be glued onto Trey Johnson.
They've known this kid was going to be good from the jump. In his very first varsity game as a high school freshman, he scored 30 points. He's been good from the word go. Richardson beat Lake Highlands, though, in both meetings a year ago. So the Wildcats hungry to get them this year because they feel like they are the team to beat across Texas. A chance to prove it tonight, next on Tuesday Night Hoops.
Wake up with Daybreak to get your local news, weather, and traffic. But hey, it doesn't have to stop here.
No, we're passing the ball to our friends at GMA. That's right. Your best mornings continue right here on GMA.
With exclusive interviews, all the top breaking news.
And everything you need to know to get going. And hey, nice catch, Robin.
All right.
Local live traffic updates when you need them.
And don't forget about the weather.
Get your day started with Daybreak.
With Daybreak and GMA.
Every morning.
In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Hey, I'm Jason. And I'm the other Jason. We're the co-hosts of Y'all-itics, the unofficial political podcast of Texas. So each week we invite on change makers for cold beer and candid conversations into the issues really affecting Texans. Yeah, and we're bringing in diverse viewpoints so you get to listen and really understand. This is solid information and a deep dive you're not going to get anywhere else. Not to brag, but just to brag a little bit. Okay, a little. We've been trending and making headlines. Plus, we have more than 1 million downloads. And still counting.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
We begin with breaking news in Dallas.
You need a team you can trust.
Those are some of the questions that we want answered.
Regulators have been warned over and over again.
Relevant.
I want to give you a better picture of what's happening here, both on the ground and live from HD Chopper 8.
Looking out for you.
We have a serious situation right now that's developing across North Texas.
Bold reporting, dynamic coverage, original content. We are WFAA.
The capacity here at Lake Highlands High School gym is 1,475. Don't tell the fire marshal. I think we may be a bit above that tonight. From Lake Highlands High School in North Dallas, the debut of Tuesday Night Hoops. The top team in the state, the top player in the country in the junior class, Trey Johnson, putting those reputations on the line tonight. Starters this evening for the Richardson Eagles: Patterson, Knowles, Amati, Griffin, and Jordan, led by their head coach Kevin Lawson. For Lake Highlands, Thomas, Perkins, Johnson, Racine, and Alaton, led by their head coach Joe Duffield. As we welcome you back courtside here in Lake Highlands High School, Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison with you. Heckma, we are ready for what should be a special basketball game.
I love what you said. Don't tell the fire marshal because, oh yeah, this gym is at capacity and you can cut the tension in here with a knife. Everybody knows that the #1 junior in the state, in America, resides here at Lake Highlands. And I'm telling you what, the Richardson Eagles, they want to test him out.
They do indeed. Coming out right now are the starting lineups for the Lake Highlands Wildcats. Khalil Thomas making his way on the floor right now. You also see the Richardson Eagles waiting to make their way onto the floor, led by the young man we told you about just a little bit ago, Tim Jordan. These are two really good basketball teams. Richardson Heckma over the course of the last several years has been outstanding, led by two of the best players in the country that have both now departed and made their way to the next level in Cason Wallace and Rylan Griffin. But they're still very, very good. Tim Jordan is the centerpiece of everything that they do, but they've got a lot of talent around him as well.
Oh yeah, everything moves around Big Tim Jordan. They understand that they can get their offense moving more efficiently with an inside-outside look. Look, they graduated two of the best in the nation in Cason Wallace and Rylan Griffin. And so again, having these guys and having that senior leadership, no game is too big for the Eagles, and so they relish these opportunities. They spent all of last year being in packed gyms just like this.
There was a last-minute change to the starting lineup, too, for the Richardson Eagles, and this is good news for this Eagles basketball team. Peyton Gonzalez, who has missed a significant portion of this season, finally got back healthy just in time to play on Thursday and Saturday. Today, he's not only playing, but starting in place of Rustin Griffin, so that's a really big boost for Kevin Lawson's team. Meanwhile, for Lake Highlands, obviously it starts, of course, with Trey Johnson, but the talent around him. Samson Alaton, a 6'10 stud in the middle that's on his way to play at Yale. They've got talent all around him as well.
Yeah, Alaton, imagine having a 6'10 man in the middle. So, I mean, look, anything that you're shooting from the outside, you believe that Alaton is going to be able to get those rebounds. They're going to be counting on him big time tonight, especially with his matchup with Tim Jordan.
It has been sold out here at Lake Highlands since yesterday. Everybody has been looking forward to this game. Richardson beat Lake Highlands in each of the meetings a year ago. Now Lake Highlands rightfully feels like they're the big dog. They want to prove it tonight and get a win on their home floor. Our officials tonight here at Lake Highlands High School, the crew chief Johnny Wilkins, Aaron Leach, and Ricky Herron II out there with him as well. And it will be Alaton and Tim Jordan to jump it up at the center circle. Joe Duffield switching out basketballs, it would appear. But we are just about ready to roll here on the inaugural edition of WFAA's Tuesday Night Hoops. Comment from Ms. 7 says that she's rooting for Richardson tonight, says it's her hometown. Net Doggy Dog says thanks to us for the inaugural WFAA high school basketball live stream. First time we've done a basketball game in over 3 years, going back to before COVID. Nice to be back in a gym and bringing you some basketball action tonight.
You see the big guys up, getting ready to jump this thing off. Trying to make sure they got the right basketball. I don't know. Talk about nervous energy. We got to find the right basketball to get this thing going.
I think we're finally ready to roll. Alaton and Jordan to jump it up. Johnny Wilkins to throw the basketball in the air. And in a packed gym at Lake Highlands, we're underway. Wildcats will start with it. Quentin Perkins to set the offense. And now Johnson, the stud junior, 5-star prospect's got 18 scholarship offers, and he's got the first deuce of the game.
And you see right there how patient he is. Trey Johnson just dribble drive into the lane for the easy 2 points. And surprising that the Eagles came out in a man and not into a zone to try and slow this shooting down. But, hey, they're going to live and die on that hill in man-to-man.
Tim Jordan, rated as one of the top 50 or 60 players in the state by Texas Top Hoops. Their leading scorer at 22 a game, 10 rebounds a game as well. Up top, the three from Jensen Knowles, misses long.
And they like to set Jensen Knowles up, see at the top of the key to get that three-point shot off. But you see already how having Peyton Gonzalez back in the fold is working for the Eagles as Perkins knocks down a shot of his own.
Quentin Perkins with the triple, and Lake Highlands out to a quick 5-0 start here. I beg your pardon, it was a long 2, 4-0. Answering, though, is Trenton Patterson.
I love Trenton Patterson's game. He's in one of the these guys that's emerging for the Eagles. Talk about what they graduated last year so much. Man, this is what about the pace of this game as you see Quentin Perkins go right through the lane for 2 points.
Quentin Perkins with a quick 4, and it's a 6-2 start here for the Wildcats, the #1 team in the state in 6A. The favorites to win a state championship this year. They played Duncanville, who of course is not eligible for the playoffs this year, as that one crawls over the front iron for Pharaoh Amadi. But Lake Highlands played Duncanville earlier this year. Hackma lost to them by only 1 point. Played Duncanville, who is right now the #1 ranked team in the country, better than anybody has. 3 on the way, that one misses long. Rebound pulled down on the weak side by Jensen Knowles.
And the Panthers are definitely the measuring stick, Mike, for all of these teams. And so you talk about that 1 point loss. That was a victory for them coming out of that game.
They showed just how talented they are with that result. Now Jordan goes to work on Alaton, spinning into the lane, puts it off the glass and finishes.
Look at Big Tim. Coach Lawson wants to go through this matchup. He understands that this is going to be hard for any of the Wildcats to stop the big man in the middle in Tim Jordan.
Count it plus the foul, and Jordan with a chance to give Richardson their first lead of the basketball game. And he does.
And I think that's a solid game plan for the Eagles to try and concentrate on getting Big Tim involved, working everything from inside out, slowing this Wildcats offense down.
High arcing shot that banks off the back iron for Quentin Perkins, and he's got 6 early on here to lead the way for the Wildcats.
Well, this is a heavyweight matchup, and they're going to have to withstand this initial flurry that they're coming under by the Wildcats, and they are hot right now.
The steal here by Perkins. He's up ahead. Lay in good for Khalil Thomas, the rip and run out. (10-7) Lake Highlands. Now Jordan to answer. Good fight for the offensive rebound, but Knowles can't track it down. And here comes Johnson in transition. Trey Johnson in the lane.
How about that?
Magnificent.
How about that from Trey Johnson? And an early timeout as the #1 junior in the nation is cooking.
4 early points from Trey Johnson. A fantastic finish in transition. Heckma 6 points early on for Quentin Perkins to lead all scorers in this basketball game. Richardson doing all they can to stay in this basketball game, but they knew coming into this one just how big a challenge they had in front of them, and it's already laid bare here in the opening couple minutes of the basketball game.
Well, you can tell immediately Coach Joe Duffield wants his team to get out and start running. As soon as they get the steal, they're not waiting on anything. They are in attack mode, and I think for the Wildcats, that's going to be the key to victory. They don't want to play into the Eagles' hands by trying to slow this thing down and get more of a half-court offensive set going. They're going to make sure that these guys run.
About 860 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Do let us know where you're tuning in from tonight, who you're tuning in to see tonight. If you got a favorite player on one of these two teams, if you got perhaps a cheerleader or something of those sorts that's affiliated with one of these two schools, let us know who your favorite Wildcat and who your favorite Eagle are tonight, and let us know who you think's going to win this pivotal matchup here early on in the district slate for both teams. Richardson comes in 15-8 on the year, 4-1 in District 7 6A. Lake Highlands a glitzy 15-3 record, 4-0 to start off district play. Their 3 losses, only to the Duncanville Panthers that we mentioned earlier, and then 2 out-of-state teams. They get it on the block here for Jordan. Nice find in the lane. 12-footer will go for Pharaoh Amadi.
And you see how that works with Tim Jordan. He has just great vision, even when he's down on the post, and the ability to facilitate this offense.
That one won't go for Jair Williams.
Talked about those 3 losses for the Wildcats. We talked to Coach Duffield. He talked about those games being a measuring stick for his squad. He loved the way that his squad looked in those losses because they competed against the best in the nation.
They've played, depending on which national poll you look at, 7 or 8 of the top 25 teams in the country over the course of their opening 18 games of the season. They are absolutely battle-tested. Another bucket here for Amadi, and he cuts the lead back down to a point.
Hey, Amadi's come out hot as well. You saw him get some easy buckets and some fast breaks, but his set shots been falling for him also.
Up top, Johnson. Triple rims out for him, but the tip-in will go. Khalil Thomas tips it in.
Love Khalil Thomas's game. He seems like he's always around something good happening. It's number 2, and he's been keeping this going since the beginning of this game.
Trenton Patterson has been a key for this team all season, stepping in for the injured Peyton Gonzalez, but couldn't get the shot to the rim on that one, and here comes in transition Trey Johnson. 3 on the way, rims out for Quentin Perkins. And Richardson doing a decent job of making sure that Lake Highlands has one-shot possessions here early on.
Yeah, they love the one and done, and you see them digging in on defense. But I will say this, Mike, they're finding their shots in their sweet spots, just not going down.
Good defense on the baseline. The double team creates the turnover, and here comes Johnson. Foul before he got to the hoop. The shot will not count. It's a foul on the floor. It'll go against Trenton Patterson, the junior guard.
And you see right now how aggressive Johnson has been. Every opportunity that he has to get to the hole, that's where he's going.
Be a sideline inbound. They go right to Alaton on the block. Had it stripped away for a moment, gets it back. Now Williams will kick it out, and they'll reset the offense with Quentin Perkins. Lost it, still loose, tipped away. Chases it down all the way near the end court, but that's going to be out of bounds as it was touching the Richardson player as he was out of bounds, Trenton Patterson. And it will stay Lake Highlands ball, but good hustle, good pursuit from this Richardson defense.
Well, you think it means something to them, huh? Everybody's diving for loose balls, and here we are just in the first period.
Great atmosphere and a packed house here tonight at Lake Highlands. Now the double team of Johnson and a foul.
Coach Lawson is coming undone because that played right into his hands. He wants to trap Johnson immediately, put him in a position where he's going to travel foul or something like that, but make the junior make a decision with the ball in his hands.
Double team him once again.
Yeah, right back to the trap.
And they take it away as a result. Oh, good hustle by Williams to chase it down. Shots long. They're going to call a block on that, and Tim Jordan can't believe the call.
And go back to the replay. And you see the steal. They did exactly, almost executed to perfection. But Jordan is, wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough call.
If anything, it should have been a no call. There really wasn't that much contact with the defender, but he certainly didn't commit a blocking foul.
No.
He was as stationary as could be. About 1,500 officials here in the gymnasium that don't agree with the call either. First free throw from Williams goes despite an ear-piercing scream from the Richardson side.
We have the crowd behind us, trust me. We are in the crowd right now, basically.
Two for two. Both free throw attempts and ear-piercing screams. 5-point lead for the Wildcats.
And you see right now what the Eagles are doing. They're slowing this pace down because the Wildcats are just out running and gunning right now.
That was part of the game plan for Kevin Lawson's club, to slow this game down, cut down on the number of possessions, really eat some clock, and then go execute. Up top now for Jordan. Into the lane. Foul on the floor, and they'll call it on Alaton.
You know, and I'm really surprised to see Jordan playing so much out on the perimeter. Mike, I expected him to be more of a space eater in the paint, but it just shows you when you have a 6'7" talent like Jordan that has the vision and can also operate your offense, that's got to be a great asset for Coach Kevin Lawson.
Final 43 seconds here of the opening quarter. Late getting the inbounds in, and they turn it over. Johnson in the midcourt. Down the lane, can't finish. Good strong rebound by Pharaoh Amadi.
Yeah, Amadi, they had numbers on him, so that's a good job of him going up and stealing that ball off of the rebound.
Amadi hounded by Johnson. Cutting in the passing lane is Perkins. He lays it in, plus the foul.
And there was nothing that Trenton Patterson could do. He took it for a ride and won.
Kevin Lawson can't believe the foul call. But Perkins to the free throw line, looking to finish off an and one and a 9-point first quarter. Lead up to 8. Richardson likely will hold for the final shot here. Patterson misses short. 4 seconds to work with. Racing up the floor is Perkins. And it goes! What a first period from Quentin Perkins, hitting at the buzzer. Lake Highlands doubling up Richardson. The buzzer beater banks home. And it's a 22-11 start for the #1 team in the state.
Stop here.
No, we're passing the ball to our friends at GMA.
That's right. Your best mornings continue right here on GMA.
With exclusive interviews, all the top breaking news.
And everything you need to know to get going. And hey, nice catch, Robin.
All right.
Local live traffic updates when you need them.
And don't forget about the weather.
Get your day started with Daybreak.
With Daybreak and GMA.
Every morning.
12 first quarter points for Lake Highlands. Quentin Perkins, a tremendous first quarter of play for the young senior. One of their best players. Obviously, everybody knows about Trey Johnson, but Perkins has been huge to what they do this year as well, and couldn't have had a better quarter.
No, you really couldn't. And I tell you what, for the inaugural Tuesday Night Hoops, and we get a buzzer beater in the first quarter. I mean, that's got to be a good omen, Mike. It's got to be.
Richardson finds themselves now in a 22-11 hole. In talking with their head coach, Kevin Lawson, earlier this week, he talked about some of the things that they wanted to try and do to try and slow down Trey Johnson, and obviously that's a very difficult task, and they've got still 3 quarters ahead of them trying to do so, but they wanted to try and slow things down. They wanted to try and keep this game in the 50s. It's not off to a good start from a pace perspective yet for Richardson. 3-pointer misses short. And Johnson with the strong side rebound.
And Mike, they kind of played right into the Wildcats' hands with the early pace that they had. And it's just been the rebounding and the steals from the Wildcats. They're all over them.
Good pursuit of the rebound there by Logan Strahan, but it's out of bounds, last touched by the Wildcats. It'll be Richardson basketball.
And to that end, you know, Mike, if they're really trying to slow this thing down, they need to try and get Jordan down in the paint more to be more methodical about their offense. There it is.
Looking down low for Jordan, knocked out of bounds, last touched by Williams. It'll stay on this end.
Yeah, that's where you want them to work. I mean, because they have the size advantage with Jordan down in the paint.
Baseline inbound will come into Jordan. Bulling his way into the paint, tried to drop it off here. Gonzalez lost it, it'll stay on this end.
And that's the thing right now, again, the Wildcats, the way that they're playing, they're digging in on both ends of the court. This is a fevered pitch, that pace that they're playing with. Man, if they can keep this up, boy, there's going to be some tired young men for the Wildcats.
Another near 5-second call leads to a turnover. It's Johnson with the steal, and he'll run the floor again into the lane. Can't finish, high off the glass.
How about that? Point blank, trying to bank it off the glass, and that's a miss.
Trouble on the baseline, but a nice find underneath for Amadi, and he lays it in. Beg your pardon, Peyton Gonzalez.
A good job finding a cutting Peyton Gonzalez behind those screens.
Good defense on the near sideline. Trey Johnson loses it out of bounds.
Yeah, they're looking for that instant offense from Trey Johnson. You saw him miss a shot a minute ago and then not able to take that pass. Trey Johnson now is out of the ball game.
Over 1,000 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. We do appreciate you being with us. Stacy Mullinax says T2 fans, that is Tim Jordan, wearing number 23 for the Richardson Eagles tonight. They call him T2, the young man who transferred in from Saginaw, Michigan. 3 on the way here for Knowles. Back iron, long rebound, chased down. Perkins was out of bounds.
They caught him foot on the line on that long rebound. Jensen Knowles so far not able to knock down anything from outside. He's their sharpshooter.
Kevin Lawson told us this week they're not afraid of this moment playing a number 1 ranked team in the state. He said we've beaten the number 1 team in the state 3 of the last 6 years. This is what we do. As Jordan buries the 16-footer on the baseline. They're used to this environment, Heckma, and they're starting to show just in the last couple of minutes their ability to even rally after they got punched in the mouth.
Oh, absolutely. And when we talked with Coach Lawson, I thought it was just comedy, how much he relished this underdog role. He's used to being the hunted, and so now him coming up against teams like the Wildcats, like again, he's looking forward to the challenge for his team.
Corner 3 misses long for Parker Scott. And he'll hear it from the Lake Highlands student section. Perkins with the hot hand here early on, and he'll set the offense as we approach the 5-minute mark here in quarter number 2. Step back, steps through. Now back up top for Thomas.
Yeah, I love Quentin Perkins' game, man. He is just so fluid with the ball in his hand. He is challenging these defenders up top, perimeter and in the paint, as he works his way down. Man, I tell you what, keep your eyes on number 3. He out here working as well, man.
He's got 14 on the night to lead all scorers, darn near equaling what Richardson has scored as a team tonight. Jordan, spin move into the lane. No call, lots of contact, loose ball picked up by Lake Highlands. 3 on the way. High arcing bounce, good offensive rebound. And back out to Perkins to reset the offense again.
And look at the Eagles.
That's going to be a travel.
They're going to go travel, but that's a credit to the Eagles. They went from going man to a matchup zone. They switched it up on them, and I think that's the way that you slow down Quentin Perkins, especially with Johnson out of the game. And, well, too late now. Trey Johnson's back in the game.
They're not going to leave number 20 off the floor for very long. A young man who's got every offer you could possibly imagine. All the biggest schools, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas, Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Baylor. Backdoor look there for Jordan, and he draws a foul as they threw it up for him on the lob.
Well, that's something special when you got a guy that size that you're throwing the backdoor lobs for. That's amazing.
Just a great, great crowd on hand today here at Lake Highlands High School. Packed to the gills, standing room only on both baselines. First free throw falls here for Jordan.
I mean, and the pace of this game. I think we were thinking about something more slow and methodical. Boy, were we wrong.
I think that's certainly what Kevin Lawson wanted. At least so far, he hasn't gotten it. This period has slowed down a good bit.
Really. But they're keeping it close. I think, Mike, they would have call this a success with where they're keeping it. They want to stay in this range.
Block from behind. Tim Jordan erasing it at the 10. Lake Highlands has scored just 2 points here in this second quarter.
Lawson coming off the screen, working his way down low. They gotta feed the big man.
Double team, though, on the block. Trying to find somewhere to kick it out to. Patterson Three on the way for Knowles will fall.
Finally, Jensen Knowles. They've been trying to find him at the three-point line. He's missed his first two. 3 times the charm. It finally goes down for him.
And a 9-2 run from Richardson to start the second quarter. Foul on the sideline as they try to double team Trey Jordan.
And that's a foul they'll give up. That is a foul that they'll give up.
Yeah.
Because they're going to trap him immediately. They want to get the ball out of his hands.
The in-house scoreboard correcting the score. 24-20 is the correct tally. Officials checking with the book to make certain that the score is accurate.
I don't know what the discrepancy was.
They're making sure foul count is correct.
Okay.
Scoreboard's correct. Foul count has been evened out in the book, and now we're back ready for play. 3 minutes left here in this second quarter, and Richardson has done a really nice job to get back into this ball game. 9-2, they've outscored him here in the second quarter. Perkins probing up top for Alaton.
And I'm sure Coach Lawson is okay with that. He is okay with that because they're not going to allow Alaton to continue to dominate in the paint like that. What they want to do is make sure that they get the ball out of the hands of Johnson, and they've been doing a good job of that, but they've got to slow down Quentin Perkins.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Richardson has been in these moments. They're used to crowds like this. They know what it is to play. As that one swatted from behind by Perkins, and here comes Johnson in transition.
Yeah, that's good help defense by by Lake Highlands.
3 in the corner on the way, back iron. But he did say, listen, Sampson's going to dunk on us tomorrow night. When we talked with him yesterday, he explicitly said, but that's not going to rattle us because we've been in these moments. Jordan couldn't miss as he tried to go up and under. Perkins down the lane. Out of bounds, last touched by Samson Alaton.
And here we are with this pace. They've increased it again. It looks like Tim Jordan was hurt on that last on the last possession. He goes out of the game.
Yeah. He did walk off under his own power. Honestly looked more angry than he looked hurt as he came to the sideline. It didn't seem like a situation where he'll be out for very long.
Fuming is the word I was going to use.
Yeah. Final 90 seconds here of the first half. Knowles into the lane. Rustin Griffin, the younger brother of Rylan Griffin, who's now at Alabama. Floater on the way will go for Patterson.
And I'm sure Patterson, again, he's someone that has been working his butt off defensively, finally gets his shot to fall. But again, you see the trap. They go right with the trap.
Out of bounds, last touch by Johnson. Lake Highlands assistants arguing that ball got tipped. Officials say no. Richardson ball with 1:06 left here in the quarter.
Yeah, and Tim Jordan back on the floor.
Yeah.
That's about the amount of rest he got. What was that, about 10 seconds?
It wasn't long, maybe 30 seconds of actual game time.
Yeah.
1 minute to play in the first half. A 4-point game between two of the top programs in all of North Texas.
And I will say, Mike, I think this ball game is actually playing into the Eagles' hands. They love this score, this low score like this. They got them right where they want them.
Jordan was there for the offensive rebound, had it tipped away, and here comes Perkins. Good skip pass over the top for Thomas. Nice find underneath. The up and under won't go, though, for Williams.
And the Wildcats were working everything. They tried to get the pass to the open guy. Just the shot did not fall.
Tim Jordan will go to work on Williams. 9 seconds as he gets into the lane. Fade away. 4 seconds to work with. Perkins going to try again. This one misses short. And through 2 quick and Heckma Harrison exhilarating periods, a 4-point game at the break.
Man, hey Mike, we have a whole nother half of this, so I didn't know that the pace was going to be this exhilarating, but boy, what a first half. And I think right now, if you're the Richardson Eagles, this plays right into your game plan. You want a low-scoring game. You want to make this thing as grueling as you possibly can, because what the Wildcats want to do is get out and run. I love what they're doing by slowing the ball down and trying to get it out of the hands of Johnson. That's their only saving grace. Make the other guys beat you, not number 20.
Kevin Lawson said it to us yesterday on the phone. We want this game to be played in the 50s. Right on pace right now for exactly the kind of game that they want to play. 26-22, Lake Highlands with the lead at halftime. They raced out to an 11-point lead, doubled up Richardson in the first quarter. Richardson responds in kind, more than doubling up Lake Highlands in the second quarter, and it's a 4-point game at the break on Tuesday Night Hoops.
We begin with breaking news in Dallas.
You need a team you can trust.
Those are some of the questions that we want answered.
Regulators have been warned over and over again.
Relevant.
I want to give you a better picture of what's happening here, both on the ground and live from HD Chopper 8.
Looking out for you.
We have a serious situation right now that's developing across North Texas.
Bold reporting, dynamic coverage, original content. We are WFAA. In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Wake up at daybreak to get your local news, weather, and traffic. But hey, it doesn't have to stop here.
No, we're passing the ball to our friends at GMA.
That's right. Your best mornings continue right here on GMA.
With exclusive interviews, all the top breaking news.
And everything you need to know to get going. And hey, nice catch, Robin.
All right.
Local live traffic updates when you need them.
And don't forget about the weather.
Get your day started with Daybreak.
With Daybreak and GMA.
Every morning.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting. Dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
Back in Dallas, right on the border of Richardson ISD, the Lake Highlands Wildcats, the #1 team in the state in 6A with a 26-22 halftime lead on the Richardson Eagles. Mike Leslie and Heckma Harrison back here with you. Heckma, this is a game that has played out at first exactly how Lake Highlands wanted it to in the first quarter, and then it completely flipped on its ear. The second quarter went exactly how Kevin Lawson and Richardson would have wanted it to go.
And that's what I was thinking at the beginning. I was like, this goes against everything that we talked to Coach Lawson about, especially with the pace. And you're right, the Wildcats were having it their way. I think the steals, and obviously Quentin Perkins. I mean, he basically exploded in that first half. Something started to happen with Tim Jordan and his ability to facilitate the offense. When he's got to work inside, getting those block shots, getting those defensive rebounds, and again, those defensive rebounds is just all about tenacity and want to. When you got Big Tim in there, he's going to make sure that he's cleaning the window for you. He's done a wonderful job of that for the Eagles.
Tim Jordan leading the way for Richardson with 7 points. Farrell Amati with 6 points to help chip in for the Eagles. Meanwhile, for Lake Highlands, you said it, Quentin Perkins is the story of this first half. And we know how talented Trey Johnson is. Even though he hasn't scored a whole bunch in this first half, if you've been watching, just watch this kid glide up and down the floor. You can see the talent. He just hasn't had the shots fall maybe the way he would have liked to so far tonight. But this is what makes Lake Highlands so dangerous, is even if Trey Johnson is off, they've got guys who can pick up the slack for him, and Quentin Perkins has absolutely done that in this first half.
Hey, and that's by design, okay? Because what they're doing is they're trapping Trey Johnson immediately. They want to get the ball out of his hands, and fortunately for the Wildcats, they have other offense that's out there. And Quentin Perkins, he's also finding his own shot. He's stealing the ball. He's really just facilitating this offense as well. But hey, set your watch by it. Trey Johnson is on the way offensively.
You have to imagine he's not going to sit on 4 points for very long. It's interesting. We've got the YouTube feed right up here in front of us, and I'm seeing your comments come through as we go along. And I see a comment here from Net Doggy Dog that's a pretty common viewer here for us on the WFAA digital network. He says that the Eagles are playing like they don't particularly care what the pregame poll results were, what the polls were rather coming into today.
Yeah.
It is important to note, even though Richardson wasn't ranked in the most recent poll that came out yesterday, they were ranked 10th in the state just 2 weeks ago.
Right.
They lost a couple of games that apparently the pollsters didn't think they should have, that knocked them down in the polls. But one thing that we've seen a little bit of here in the first half that is a big part of what's going to be the evolution of this Richardson team, Peyton Gonzalez getting back healthy and starting today. That's a feather in their cap because that's a 6'4" kid that they expected to start at point guard preseason that's now back and starting to make an impact for them. So Richardson's a team that has the ability to be right there in the rankings. They're just not right at this present moment.
And you see what Peyton Gonzalez does immediately, his influence on this on them offensively. He's 6'4". That gives them another long, lean shooter and also defender. So having him in the fold, you see him pressing up. When he gets on these guys and they're trapping guys like Trey Johnson, look, man, he really is a difference maker. So don't worry about it. The Richardson Eagles will be working their way back up the polls.
14 first half points, though, for Quentin Perkins to lead the way for Lake Highlands, and they lead it 26-22 at halftime. Third quarter action when we return on Tuesday Night Hoops.
We begin with breaking news in Dallas.
You need a team you can trust.
Those are some of the questions that we want answered.
Regulators have been warned over and over again.
Relevant.
I want to give you a better picture of what's happening here, both on the ground and live from HD Chopper 8.
Looking out for you.
We have a serious situation right now that's developing across North Texas.
Bold reporting, dynamic coverage, original content. We are WFAA. In a world filled with motion, we are the constant. Filled with storms, we are the calm. Filled with uncertainty, we are reassurance. We bring the truth. We bring hope, conviction, a legacy of grit, determination, honesty, and relevant reporting that doesn't just inform, but inspires. We are WFAA.
Wake up at daybreak to get your local news, weather, and traffic. But hey, it doesn't have to stop here.
No, we're passing the ball to our friends at GMA.
That's right. Your best mornings continue right here on GMA.
With exclusive interviews, all the top breaking news.
And everything you need to know to get going. And hey, nice catch, Robin.
All right.
Local live traffic updates when you need them.
And don't forget about the weather.
Get your day started with Daybreak.
With Daybreak and GMA.
Every morning.
Sometimes parties can tend to go on slightly longer than planned. For Izzy, that's not a problem at all, since she can now catch the 4, 5, 6, or even 10 p.m. newscasts after they air on the new WFAA+. Party on, kids. Are you a consummate multitasker like Chris Lawrence? Cooking, well, attempting. Dinner for the family while also craving a dose of news? Now you can chop and cook while still tuning in to any live newscast on the new WFAA+.
Your essential local news and weather for free. The WFAA mobile app. Download now.
begin with breaking news in Dallas.
You need a team you can trust.
Those are some of the questions that we want answered.
Regulators have been warned over and over again.
Relevant.
I want to give you a better picture of what's happening here, both on the ground and live from HD Chopper 8.
Looking out for you.
We have a serious situation right now that's developing across North Texas.
Bold reporting, dynamic coverage, original content. We are WFAA.
Welcome back. A good look at the backside of Trey Johnson as we welcome you back to Lake Highlands High School. That big number 20 right in the center of your frame. 4 first-half points for the number 1 player in the country in the junior class. You can only imagine how much he wants to get untracked as we start off the third quarter here on Tuesday Night Hoops. It will be Lake Highlands ball to start the second half as they move right to left here after halftime. And they'll go right to him on the baseline. Double teamed immediately. They get it out of his hands. Perkins trying to make him pay, and he does.
And that's where you see it right there. Quentin Perkins recognizing that the trap is coming. He sets his feet immediately before he even receives the pass to shoot.
That's what Lake Highlands has to do, is make teams pay for double teaming Trey Johnson. They did it to perfection right there, and now 17 points on the day for Quentin Perkins. Tim Jordan trying to work on Alaton, kicks in the corner, 3 on the way for Farrell. Amati misses long. Gonzalez with the 3-point attempt.
A lot of those shots, again, having Gonzalez back, he was knocking those shots down, working defensively, but then also getting into the paint and getting those easy shots as well.
Look at Samson Alaton with the putback.
Yeah, Samson Alaton just working around the box, and that's a good putback by the 6'10" big man.
He's got 4 points in this basketball game. All 4 of them have been electrifying. Just like that, the lead back to 9. Foul on the floor as the pump fake from Patterson lost his man.
And just like that, the Wildcats have come back out of halftime, and you can tell that the mentality is run. Let's get things going.
Yeah. Richardson wants to play a slow-paced game. Lake Highlands very much does not. Tim Jordan heard somebody in the stands say go to work, and he did.
Yeah, he did exactly that. You see the big man use that thick lower body of his just to move the 6'10" Sampson off of his spot. I'm loving Tim Jordan, man.
He's got 9 points now on the day. Alaton on the block. Just too big and strong.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that. You want to try and get the big man off of his spot, but you got to stay aggressive.
Nice look underneath, but just a bit too strong with the pass for Rustin Griffin and out of bounds.
Yeah, Jensen knows had the right idea in the penetrate dribble drive, find the open shooter on the box. Again, just too much mustard on that pass.
Rachel Harden in the YouTube comments says she's watching from Alabama tonight. Nice finish.
How about that?
By Trey Johnson, and the lead has ballooned to 11. 2 minutes and 22 seconds into the second half. Trey Johnson now with 6. The pretty scoop to finish, and it's an 11-point Wildcat lead.
Yeah, and I said it, you know, there's no way they were going to try to just hold Trey Johnson to 4 points. His offense would wake up. You get him in an isolation position like that, and he's just so smooth, man. It's like he has one speed, Mike, and he goes with that speed, and it's just easy and effortless at 6'6". I mean, he's big enough. He plays above the rim, but smooth game like that, man, it's just going to transition very well to the next level.
Couple of comments from our YouTube feed. Katie Brugger says Richardson for the upset. Grace Formby says Wildcats. Asher Crane says Cats by 20. The start of this third quarter would suggest that he might be right about that. Trinice Johnson says go Trenton, go Richardson. MCV Photography says this 1985 Lake Highlands grad is watching and cheering from Kentucky. Hail
wow.
Lake Highlands.
How about that? All the way from Kentucky.
Good comment here from Keith Whitmire, and this is a good note just about the way that this game is playing out. Lake Highlands playing without their starting point guard, Jalen Washington.
Yes.
Key player for them, got dinged up against Irving MacArthur in their last game. Out tonight, as is Warren Hamilton, another key player for this team. He's been sick lately, just not quite fully healthy yet, so he's out tonight as well, and that's important to what Lake Highlands does with both of those young players.
And you see right out of the timeout, Coach Duffield putting pressure full court on the Eagles. Just not going to make anything easy for them.
Look at the move by Tim Jordan in the finish.
And, you know, we got the Draymond Green comparison for Tim Jordan. I don't see it. This guy is instant offense.
The Saginaw, Michigan of it all is a big part of where that comes from.
That's where it is.
But, yes, he is an offensive weapon. And Johnson, they force him to the baseline. He steps on the baseline. It's turnover. Tim Jordan now up to 11 points on the day. I feel like this is the first time all night that I've been able to hear myself think. A brief moment of quiet here at Lake Highlands High School.
Don't jinx it.
It's not going to last very long at all, I'm quite sure. Rustin Griffin into the lane. Short gets his own rebound. The putback won't go. The second putback won't go.
Boy, he had enough looks at it.
Johnson has it tipped away. Griffin, 1-on-2, misses short. The putback blocked by Alaton, but they'll count it.
And you can't fault Richardson right now. They are working hard on offense. The Wildcats are just working harder as they get Sampson for the goaltend.
Carrie Fultz in the YouTube comment says Richardson let's go, says number 5 is her son, Demetrius Thomas, the junior guard. Jaleel Thomas handling straight away, gets the screen, right down the lane, throws it up for Alaton, blew the layup, gets his own rebound, and draws the foul.
And you see with Alaton, what they have to do is just get him in his spots where he's comfortable. Understandable for a guy that's 6'10". You don't want him to try and dribble drive, any of that. You want him to specialize in those lobs and everything underneath the hoop.
Alaton to the free throw line to shoot 2. Committed to Yale, received 15 different scholarship offers, including to some big schools, but wanted to go to a true academic power like Yale, and he's going to go and be a handful in the Ivy League at 6'10". A 1-for-2 trip, and the lead is 8.
I commend the big man for having the grades, first of all, to get into Yale, but his athleticism, my goodness, man, what an athlete this Alaton is.
To be able to move the way he does at 6'10" is frightening. Now the turnover, stolen away by Lewis Racine. Johnson in transition, 1-on-3. Can't finish, but the tip will go. Khalil Thomas with the putback.
Mr. Khalil Thomas, Johnny on the spot. We saw him in the first half, same thing. Just seemed to be at the right spot at the right time. Rebound coming off the goal. Hit Khalil right there, and that's another errant pass from the Eagles.
Perkins with the steal in the lane. Lead up to a dozen. And now 19 points on the night for Quentin Perkins. Another steal. This time it's Johnson stepping into the passing lane. Pull up 3. Yes, sir.
The Wildcat defense has completely taken over. Richardson really has to regroup because they are shook right now, and it's all because of that Lake Highlands defense.
A quiet first half from Trey Johnson, the #1 player in the country in the junior class. Not a quiet moment right there. Key in the defensive sequences for them over the course of the last couple of trips, and this time the rip and the triple. He's up to 9 points now on the night, and the lead has ballooned to 15.
Yeah, and this is the part where I'm sure for Coach Lawson, he did not want for them to extend any drives like this the way that they have. This offensively, they've been just doing everything, hitting every shot. Offense for the Eagles is just hit or miss. And it's been because of those passing lanes, the way that the Wildcats are squeezing those passing lanes and not allowing them to rotate and pass the ball.
It was a dream second quarter for Richardson, cutting the lead all the way down to 4 at 2 different points. But here in the second half, they have been outscored by Lake Highlands by a 17-6 margin. And now another turnover. Here is Jordan, threw it away. He wanted Patterson to come to the wing.
And they're just disrupting what they're doing offensively. They come out of the timeout in the full court press, and they were not anticipating that. And then there's the errant pass from Tim Jordan. And immediately the trap comes on Johnson to get the ball out of his hands, and he draws the foul.
The strength it takes to be able to split that double team, and that's one area where, as Trey Johnson has gotten older, I mean, we talked about it off the top of the broadcast, this is a kid who scored 30 in his first varsity game as a freshman.
Right.
But you can see just looking at his frame, he's a slender kid, but he has gotten stronger from last year to this year, and that's a part of his game that maybe he wouldn't have been able to do a year ago, splitting that double team in that way.
Yeah, and he's anticipating that the double team is coming as they have the open 3 in the corner, and that falls for Khalil Thomas.
The lead is 18. Thomas, a starter tonight because of the injuries. Jordan right back at him.
How about that for the big man and the Euro step in the lane.
In transition, Perkins to answer, front iron.
That's what you call a heat check, if I ever saw one.
Jordan has 13 of Richardson's 23 of their 30 points tonight. High off the glass, but too strong.
Yeah, again, the offense is hit or miss.
Perkins again.
But not from Quentin Perkins.
He's got 21 now on the night. It is hit and hit and hit and hit for Quentin Perkins.
Yeah, nothing hit or miss there, man. Above the rim. He's been carrying this offense from the beginning, and finally Johnson is kicked back in, and here we go again. Move! I love it. This kid is awesome.
Trey Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. And the lead is 20. Here he goes again in free space down the lane, throws it up. A foul on the pass, they say.
Yeah, if Samson Alaton caught that lob and dunked it, I think we may have had to evacuate the gym.
Substitutions for the Wildcats. Number 5, Chidiume back in the game, along with number 12, Jair Williams. Also substitution.
Up top here for Alaton on the inbound. Good patience, draws the foul on Jordan, and he'll head to the line for 2.
Foul is called on number 23, Tim Jordan. That is his third.
Tim Jordan's third foul of the basketball game.
Free throw line for 2.
That's definitely something to watch here going forward.
Alaton with the soft touch. It was not that long ago that this was a 4-point game, and this is just how dangerous this Lake Highlands team can be. And in a blink, they spread it out.
That is the word, in a blink. It just seems like as soon as they tighten the screws on you defensively, they are out running and gunning. And all of these guys that we've talked about, Khalil Thomas, Quentin Perkins, these are the guys that really get that break started. And once they get the big man running in the lobs, I mean, man, this is candy land for the Wildcats.
Final 20 seconds of the third quarter here, and Tim Jordan will try to go to work. He's got 13 on the night. Into the lane, gets doubled and draws the foul. Only the second team foul of the half on Lake Highlands.
I want you to know that's a 6'7" young man handling the ball right now for the Eagles. So he feels that jersey out.
Shockingly, he has only one collegiate offer. But the way that he's played this season, you can only imagine. I say collegiate offer, Division I collegiate offer from Western Illinois. The way that he's played this season, though, for Richardson, the way that he's assumed that #1 role, the leading scorer role for this team, and teams are getting a chance to see more of what he can do, you can only imagine that number's going to grow.
You know, there's just so much variation to his game. He can play the true big man, but he also has a dribble drive. He has so many things in his arsenal. What's not to like about Tim Jordan?
10 seconds here in the period. Jordan, guarded by Williams, step back three, rattles out. It'll stay on this end with 2.6.
How about that, man? In and out. Halfway down, it comes out for the big man for the three-point shot.
Trying to find somewhere to get the ball to. They do get it to Jordan, but it's dribbled out of bounds off his own body. And it'll be Lake Highlands ball with 0.8 of a second left. Johnson at the buzzer. No, and to the fourth we go. A dominant third quarter from Lake Highlands, racing out to a 22-point lead as we head to the fourth on Tuesday Night Hoops.
Wake up at daybreak to get your local news, weather, and traffic. But hey, it doesn't have to stop here.
No, we're passing the ball to our friends at GMA.
That's right. Your best mornings continue right here on GMA.
With exclusive interviews, all the top breaking news.
And everything you need to know to get going. And hey, nice catch, Robin.
All right.
Local live traffic updates when you need them.
And don't forget about the weather.
Get your day started with Daybreak.
With Daybreak and GMA.
Every morning.
We said at halftime that the pace was exactly what the Richardson Eagles would have wanted. 26-22, a game on pace to be in the 50s. Just 26 points on the board for the #1 team in the state, Lake Highlands, through 2 quarters of play. Yeah. Then in the third quarter alone, they scored 26 more, and to the fourth we go, 52-30. The Wildcats with the lead.
I tell you what, Coach Joe Duffield's group in the third quarter, they executed to perfection. The one thing that I love right now about this Wildcat squad, Mike, is that they are unselfish. You see these guys get out on the pass. They are rotating that ball and getting the ball to the open guy. Complete unit is this Wildcat squad.
It'll be Richardson ball to start the fourth quarter, down 22. They have got a mountain in front of them. And Richardson won both of these matchups a year ago when they had Cason Wallace and Ryland Griffin. Certainly a different team this year for head coach Kevin Lawson. Still a talented team, and Tim Jordan leads the way for that. This is one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the district. But what we've seen tonight, especially in that third quarter, is indicative of just how good this Lake Highlands team is. Jordan buries the jumper and starts the fourth quarter very well for Richardson.
Yeah, just stopping the bleeding, but I tell you what, for Tim Jordan, he is going to have to stay out of foul trouble. They're going to need him here in the fourth.
Fouled shooting the 3 is Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson, foul.
Well, Pharaoh Amadi's got to be asking himself, what did I do? Because you look at this replay, look at the feet right there of Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson kicks his leg out. And I tell you what, Mike, that's just a savvy veteran move from an 11th grader.
When you're making savvy veteran plays as a junior in high school, that's dangerous for everyone around you.
He knows how to get the referee's attention, and he does just that.
He had just 4 points at halftime. If he hits all 3 of these, he'll have 10 points already in the second half, just 31 seconds into the final period.
Yeah, like I said, just blink, and the Wildcats are off and running. They have an aggressive style, and they don't quit. They've been doing it on both ends of the floor, as you can see right now. You know, the Eagles haven't scored but 33 points here. And they come back out with the full court, excuse me.
Nice play in transition, and Jordan draws the foul. It was Amadi that set him up.
Foul is called on Logan Strahan, his first.
Trey Johnson now up to 14 points on the day, 21 on the night for Quentin Perkins. So just between the two of them, outscoring Richardson tonight.
Yeah, and that's, hey, they have, and not surprising, Richardson has relied a lot on 23. He's done a lot for him defensively, but also offensively. Him getting in foul trouble is the biggest thing because he can't take the same amount of chances as he did earlier as the Eagles come out with a trap of their own.
Lake Highlands able to break it, and here comes Johnson. Lost his feet in the lane. Offensive foul.
I thought that was more of a travel before, but the offensive foul was called.
A turnover either way, and possession goes back to Richardson. Samson Alaton will check back into the basketball game for Logan Strahan. You know, Trey Johnson is just the latest outstanding basketball player from Richardson ISD. Go back a couple of years ago, Richardson Pierce, a young man who is just tearing up the college basketball game right now at Gonzaga, and Drew Timme.
Yes.
As Jordan gets it underneath and draws the foul. Then you had the two young men that were here at Richardson playing for the Eagles a year ago, in Cason Wallace and Rylan Griffin. Both of them as just freshmen having success and seeing big minutes at Kentucky and Alabama, respectively. Now you've got Tim Jordan in the junior class, the #1 player in America. My goodness, do they make some basketball players here in Richardson?
Yeah, they've got an area, call it the hotbed of basketball right now. But, man, Cason Wallace, I just got to say this, last year, getting an opportunity to see him and Griffin play outstanding. Those two guys together were magic. And you talk about an instant classic, them last year against Duncanville.
Yeah.
Had to be there to believe it, man.
A 1-for-2 trip there for Jordan. He's got 18 now on the night, but they break the press and they kick it out for Perkins. He'll slow things down now in the corner. Thomas for 3. Yes, sir.
And that's the guy you just can't forget. Khalil Thomas, you saw him on the baseline on the other side, knock down the 3. He just does it from the other side as well. And a quick shot by the Eagles. An easy rebound.
In the corner, and an offensive foul on Jair Williams.
Yeah, Jair Williams trying to get in on the act, 6'5" senior.
It was a 26-22 game at halftime. Lake Highlands really being challenged at that point by this game Richardson club. But a 26-8 third quarter in favor of the Wildcats, and the #1 team in the state has pulled away in this one. Fadeaway won't go for Tim Jordan. He's got 18 on the night. He's done everything he can, Heckman, to try and keep his team in this basketball game. But Lake Highlands just has too much firepower. Perkins again for 3, back iron. Jordan saving it back in bounds, but right to a waiting Wildcat, tipped away, and now the Eagles have it back. Right behind his back, though, and here comes the lay-in that won't go for Trey Johnson. When George Gervin Iceman finger roll, and it just wouldn't quite curl down for him.
How about that? A shout out to the old school with George Gervin. That was above the rim with the finger roll, but I will tell you this, Trey, next time, just dunk it. He's already up there.
Going to work on the baseline, had it stripped away on the double team. Patterson, good patience, and he lays it in, plus the foul.
And how bad did Richardson need that shot to go down? And Trenton Patterson running the floor and getting the and one.
Patterson, the 5'10 junior, has started a lot of games this season for Richardson. Really done a nice job stepping into that role for them after the injury to Peyton Gonzalez. Makes a great play there in transition to gear down and be patient, draw the foul, and still finish high off the glass. Free throw won't go, though. It'll stay a 21-point lead.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been the Wildcats. That third quarter, as you were just talking about, Mike, it's the points in bunches for them, hitting threes, twos, and one foul. I mean, they have just went on a tear offensively. And look who's slowing the pace down.
Well, easier to do that, I suppose, when you're up 21.
Right.
Williams for three in the corner, well short. Tim Jordan looking to run up ahead. Pharaoh Amadi in transition, had it blocked from behind.
And Jair Williams making amends for the charge here earlier and getting the block.
I saw a comment in the YouTube feed earlier today as Jordan missed the lefty layup, but the tip-in will go. He's got 20 now on the night.
This kid is all heart, man.
Yes,
Talk about
is.
him just having one Division I offer. That is insane because this kid is instant offense. He is a tough guy in the middle, and the defense that he's played all night.
Yeah. Tough kid that really plays hard. That's going to be a foul on Peyton Gonzalez. I started to say I saw a comment earlier tonight, and I only bring it up because somehow somebody managed to hit it right on the head when they requested, hey, come do the Brock Peaster game. I don't know how you're in my head, but that's on the list. I haven't even emailed either of the schools yet, but we're planning to tomorrow morning. So I promise you, we're trying to come to you all later this month. That'll be January 31st, as long as both schools are on board with it. So folks out there in Brock, if you're watching, expect an email tomorrow morning. Thomas for three, misses long.
They're reading our minds.
Seriously.
Yeah.
The thought process is to do a doubleheader, boys and girls, that day. Down the lane goes Jordan, lost it, but gets it back in the corner. Up top, Amadi for three. Yes, sir.
3:26, they're just working this thing down. And that's why the Wildcats obviously have gone with a slower, more methodical pace, knowing that they're up.
Corner three misses short. Weak side rebound, pulled down, the putback goes, and the foul for Trey Johnson.
And that's going to be the fourth on Tim Jordan, the two players that we highlighted. Down in the paint, that's a great job there by Trey Johnson.
He's now up to 16 on the night. Make it 17. Lead back to 19 for Lake Highlands with just over 3 minutes to play. And the number one team in the state looks to be well on their way to a 16th win this year and a 5-0 record in district play. Jordan for three, misses long. Racine with the rebound.
And that's heads up by Tim Jordan. He gets the look that he wants. He's able to get Alaton out of the paint and up top defending him.
Fade away in the lane will go, and Quentin Perkins continues what has been a sensational night.
Man, the hot hand all night has been for Quentin Perkins. We know that the attention that's been paid to Trey Johnson to try and stop him. It's been number three that has definitely made the Eagles pay every time.
Tough shot there for Trenton Patterson, and it's going to lead to a run out. 1-on-3 for Johnson, and he finishes plus the foul.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
He's going to his right. He knows exactly what he's going to do. Kiss it off the glass and one. the #1 player in the nation.
And if he hits the free throw, he'll have 20 despite having just 4 at halftime.
There it is.
And he does.
There it is.
This Lake Highlands team is extremely dangerous statewide. And plainly put, they're a problem.
Yeah, no, I really do, love this team. They had, for Coach Joe Duffield, he hadn't had to go deep into his bench, but what I've loved about these guys is their unselfish play. They share the ball with one another, and even when Trey Johnson doesn't have his shot going, the other guys know how to get involved.
Jordan draws the foul inside. Alatana raced it up top, but he'll head to the free throw line for 2. Still well over 1,000 of you watching with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. We do appreciate y'all being with us tonight. We do have every intention of bringing you some more basketball here on the WFAA YouTube channel and on WFAA Plus. Some Tuesday night games, some Friday night games, all in the offing over the course of the rest of this month of January. Again, we are still locking those games down, but as soon as we've got those squared away, we'll make sure to let you know when and where.
I tell you what, this is a way to get things started, though, Mike. If this is going to get bigger and get better, I can't wait.
Jordan hits the free throw, a 1-for-2 trip once again. Yeah, starting off with the #1 team in the state in 6A and the #1 junior basketball player in America is not a bad way to go.
No, not at all.
And they have showed why they are so talented, especially in this second half. And why not for Quentin Perkins? Are you kidding me?
Quentin Perkins is just putting in work. He said, I'm not leaving like this, man. I'm going to make these guys remember me when they see me again.
Khalil Thomas with the block. He'll give it up to Perkins. Final minute 15, and they're still running. Right through the hands, though, of Lewis Racine and out of bounds.
Lewis Racine's upset. He wanted to get that three-point shot off. Racine's been working so hard defensively, doing all the dirty work.
Big round of applause on the near side from the Richardson fans for Tim Jordan as he checks out of the basketball game after a very strong performance from the senior forward.
Yeah, gotta appreciate what he's done. He's done all the dirty work, all the heavy lifting for the Eagles. They just came up short. It was just the firepower of the Wildcats. That offensively, man, this is a team that's going to be hard to stop. Can't wait to see them in the state tourney.
By my unofficial count, Tim Jordan with 21 on the night to lead the way for Richardson. Nice job to get in the lane here by Hale Hansen. The freshman lays it in. Yes, WFAA viewers, you heard me correctly. Hale Hansen.
You've been waiting to say that all night, and you finally got an opportunity.
He actually got in the basketball game. How do you not, right? Hale Hansen, the freshman for Richardson with the steal and the layup. Final 30 seconds here. Nearly stolen away. Now it is. And it's going to be Hale Hansen again. The freshman couldn't get it to go off the glass with the English. The putback will draw a foul here for Sincere Griffin. But yeah, Lake Highlands absolutely looks the part.
No, they do. And the way that these guys run, the way that they shoot, man, it's wonderful just to see it. And I tell you what, I came away really wanting to see Trey Johnson. Quentin Perkins has really impressed me with the way that he's played, Mike. He's done it on both ends. I mean, defensively, he did a lot. I mean, single-handedly going down and helping it on double teams with Tim Jordan, really shutting down those passing lanes. That was the difference, I believe, in that second quarter with the way that Lake Highlands came out and played defense. They shut things down.
Final 10 seconds here at Lake Highlands High School as the #1 ranked Wildcats will move to 16-3 on the year, 5-0 in district play in front of a packed house here in North Dallas. The Wildcats are for real.
No, they are, and I tell you what, if there was any guessing, or if you thought that maybe you just wanted to see them up against some more formidable opponents, I think you see it in district play. Take notice when you go back and look at this. Just know that even when you do shut Trey Johnson down, he has company, and guys like Khalil Thomas that played his heart out tonight, knocking down those open jumpers when he had an opportunity. But it was a complete team effort tonight from the Wildcats.
26 points from Quentin Perkins, 20 from Trey Johnson to lead the way, nearly outscoring Richardson all by themselves. 46 points between the two of them, 47 for the Richardson Eagles. And Lake Highlands moves to 16-3 on the season. Next up, they play Richardson Pierce on Friday night. This Richardson team will face Irving on Friday night. Both teams certainly expected to be in the upper echelon of this district. Richardson probably the second or third best team in this district. Highland Park also in this district, very good and has been off to a good start. That's the one other team that has beaten Richardson this season in district play. That's probably your top three, and it makes you wonder, all right, what's Lake Highlands, Highland Park going to look like later on this season? That should be a very good basketball game. But Lake Highlands stamped themselves, if they haven't already, as the top team in the state.
No, and again, with the guys that they have, I expect for them to make a deep push. Let's just say what it is. With Duncanville being out of the tournament this year, I think it makes things more wide open for other teams to get into the state final. And for me, Lake Highlands is that team that you've got to watch. Offensively, they have it all, but it's their attention to detail on defense as well. Go back to this third quarter, and that 26-8 run that they made was all due to the way that they played defensively.
When it's all said and done, 21 points from Tim Jordan, a valiant performance from the Richardson senior, but just not enough to outdo 26 from Quentin Perkins, 20 more from the #1 player in the country in the junior class, Trey Johnson, and the Lake Highlands Wildcats with a 69-47 win to move to 16-3 on the year and stay perfect in district play. For our entire Tuesday Night Hoops crew, Director Clay Marshall, photographer Graham Rayner, digital coordinator back in-house Paul Wedding, graphics coordinators Emil Miralda, and the one and only Heckma Harrison alongside. I'm Mike Leslie. So long from Lake Highlands. We appreciate you watching the inaugural edition of Tuesday Night Hoops. We'll see you next time on the WFAA Digital Network.